बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारि यमुनातीरावनचारि जय राधमाधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare। कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, समवेत भक्त वृंद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। मम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 5, chapter 2, verse number 17. Sri Sukha Vacha Iti lalananuyati visharado Gramya vaidagdaya paribhasayam Tam vibhuda vadum vibhudarmati adhisabhajayamasa iti lalananuyati visharado Gramya vaidagdaya paribhasaya Tam vibhuda vadum vibhudarmati adhisabhajayamasa iti lalananuyati visharado Gramya vaidagdaya paribhasaya Tam vibhuda vadhum vibhudharmati adhisavajayamasa। Sri Sukha Vacha Iti lalananuyati visarada ग्राम्य वैदग्धया परिभाषया तां विबुध वधुं विबुधमती धीसभाजयामास। श्रीशुक उवाच इति ललनानुयाति विशाराध ग्राम्य वैदग्धया परिभाषया तां विबुध वधुं विबुधमती अधीसभाजयामास। श्रीशुक उवाच इति ललनानुयाति विशाराध ग्राम्य वैदग्धया परिभाषया तां विबुध वधुं विबुधमती अधिसभाजयामास। माताजी। श्रीशुक उवाच इति ललनानुयाति विशाराद ग्राम्य वैदग्धया परिभाषया तां विबुध वधुं विबुधमती अधिसभाजयामास। What word meaning? Sri Sukha Vacha. Sukadev Goswami said, Iti, thus, Lalana, women, Anunaya, in winning over, Iti Visharadaha, very expert, Gramya Vaidagdaya, expert in fulfilling one's material desires. Paribhasaya, by selected words. Tam, her. Vibhuda Vadhum, the celestial girl. Vibhuda Matihi, Agnidhara, who possessed intelligence like that of a demigod. Adhisa Bhajayam Asa, gained the favor of. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sukadev Goswami continued, Maharaj Agnidhara, whose intelligence was like that of a demigod, knew the art of flattering women to win them to his side. He therefore pleased that celestial girl with his lusty words and gained her favor. Okay. Purport. Since King Agnidhara was a devotee, he actually had no attraction for material enjoyment. But because he wanted a wife for progeny, and Lord Brahma had sent Purvachitti for this purpose, he expertly pleased her with flattering words. Women are attracted by men's flattering words. One who is expert in this art of flattery is called Vidagdha. Hare Krishna. So I welcome all of you to this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are going to discuss from the 5th canto, 2nd chapter, from the verse number 17 to verse number, till the end of the chapter, right? Till the end of the chapter, verse number 23. Okay. So, we are right now discussing the dynasty of Priyavrata Maharaj. Like the conversation between Maitra and Vidura is happening. And Maitra Muni is explaining the dynasty of Swayambhavu Manu, and he has already explained all the daughters. They were Devauti, Akuti, Prasuti, and then also he completed our, now he began our Uttanpad dynasty, also completed in the 4th canto, and now in the 5th canto he is now beginning the dynasty of Priyavrat Maharaj. And Priyavrat Maharaj is very famous. In the first chapter we saw that how he saw that the sun, when the sun is going to the another side of the Meru mountain, the other side is dark. So he thought that why dark? Let the sunlight be everywhere in the whole Bhumandal. So he became himself as another sun, and he started rotating in the anti-clockwise of the sun, in the opposite of the sun. So when sun is this side of the Meru mountain, so this side is also light by the effulgence of the Priyavrat Maharaj. That was Priyavrat Maharaj. And practically when he was rotating in his chariot, it created a kind of impression on the Bhumandala, and that's how the 7 islands formed. And then he has a 7th son, so he gave the 7 islands to the 7th son, and all the island was separated by the ocean, milk ocean, salt ocean, curd ocean, honey ocean. So there will be no conflict, all are separated. And the central island, the Jambudvip, is given to our Agnidhar. And now the dynasty of Agnidhar will continue. So in the Bhagavatam it is not much focused on other island, because Sukadeva Goswami knows that we all are staying in Jambudvip, so his focus is on the Jambudvip. So from the 2nd chapter till the last chapter in the 5th canto, in very detail they are going to explain now Jambudvip. So now the Agnidhara will have his own children, around 9 sons he will have now from the Purva Chitti, and then he will divide again Jambudvip he will divide 9 sections, and each section he will give to 1 son, and that's how one of the section is Bharata Varsa, where we are staying. So that's how the Jambudvip is divided into 9 Varsa, and that Bharata Varsa also will again further it will divide into 9 Khanda, and actually 1 Khanda is Bharata Khanda. That famous song comes on Jambudvipe Bharata Varse, the Ramayana begins with that song. So that's how the Jambudvip is now he is going to explain. So in this, in the first section we have already read that how Agnidhara was, so just see the Vedic style. Na? Anyone before entering into Grihastha ashram, they have to perform austerity to purify themselves. So that's how the Grihastha ashram is a big responsibility. So before entering to that ashram, he has to purify himself, then only he can take that responsibility. Yeah? So that's how Prachini Varishata also sent to Prachetas for austerity. And here also Agnidhara, because his responsibility is to rule the whole Jambudvip, so he has to purify himself. So he was doing a lot of tapasya. And then Brahmaji says that okay, his desire is to take responsibility of Grihastha ashram, and he is doing tapasya. So Brahmaji sends a celestial girl, Purvachitti. And we saw all the verses how Purvachitti was attracting our Agnidhara, and he was also apparently get attracted to her. So then here in this purport Prabhupada is clarifying. If somebody will read, then he will think, what kind of sage he is getting attracted to a lady. But here if you see, the Prabhupada writes in the purport, Agnidhar was a devotee. Interestingly, he was a devotee. He was not a kind of a mystic person. He was a devotee, and he actually had no attraction for material enjoyment. But Prabhupada writes, because he wanted a wife for progeny, and Lord Brahma had sent Purvachitti for this purpose. Because he has a service of creating progeny, he had a seva for that. Because of that seva, Lord Brahma sends this Purvachitti. And by the desire of Lord only everything is happening. So we should not see a mundane affair, something that is getting attracted to a girl, celestial girl, and fall down. His goal was to only marry. The goal was clear. And everything is happening as per the plan of the Lord only. And Lord sends the celestial girl, and he gets attracted to the celestial girl, and then he does the needful. So then Prabhupada writes here, he clarified the word Bidagda, that a person who is very expert in flattery, he can attract the opposite sex, that is called Bidagda. So whenever this kind of sentence comes, we can see it in the vice versa, in taking the gender, vice versa. Now the verse number 18. Attracted by the intelligence and learning, youth, beauty, behavior, opulence, magnanimity of Agnidhara, the king of Jambudvip and the master of all the heroes, Purvachitti lived with him for many thousands of years and luxuriously enjoyed both the worldly and heavenly happiness. So, because Purvachiti was sent with a mission that he have to get married with Agnidhara. So Purvachiti fulfilled the desire of Brahma. Personally, she was sent by Brahma and she got married with Agnidhara. And she lived happily. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, by the grace of Lord Brahma, King Agnidhara and the heavenly girl Purvachiti found their unique nature very suitable. It's very important here. Both of their nature was matching with each other, and that's why they lived happily and they got all the worldly happiness and also heavenly happiness. Otherwise, it's very tough. So the very important thing here coming in the Grihastha ashram, that the husband and the wife's nature should be compatible to each other. Otherwise, the house become hell. The husband will work very hard and he will come, and if the wife will shout harsh word, then very miserable the house. And so Prabhupada is writing, very clarifying the point, because both of their nature was compatible to each other. They are matching. That's how his house become heaven. Means that's how in the marriage they check, they kundli check. They do some kind of match. If both are Devagan, then it's good, or both are Asur, then it's good. But Dev and Asur, if the compatible comes, then it will have havoc. So both the nature should be matched with each other. So that is very important thing. Here Prabhupada is clarifying that. Then the house become heaven, Vaikuntha, because both will help each other in the devotional service or anything. So then I was thinking that in the Rupa Goswami also it tells in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that even the Vaishnavas, when they are coming each other, Swajatiya, they should matching each other. The nature should be matched with each other. Like-minded devotee, if they come together and if they serve together, then it will become very pleasurable. And if their nature are not matching and both are in one department, then it's very tough. It's like Devagan and Asurgan coming together. So in our devotional service also Guru Goswami says, Swajatiya, if you are matching with each other, like all are devotee, we respect all devotees, but everyone has a different nature. So we should try our level best to put devotees together who have like-minded nature. Then the service become very smooth and it will go in a long run without any complaint. Then otherwise the complaint will come to the management, lot of complaint. Otherwise if the nature are matching, even though there will be some ups and downs, they will adjust with each other because they are like-minded devotees. But if the nature are not matching, even though there are small things, they will make it very big. Or Prabhuji is telling like this, that the main thing is that their nature are not matching. So Prabhupada, Rupa Goswami tells that like-minded devotees should come with each other. And then he tells that if somehow that you are not getting, then you should search that who is matching with my nature. It's the individual responsibility of the devotee to search such kind of devotee, because in that sangha, the devotional service nourishes and you will get pleasure. You get happy. Sometimes you serve somewhere, well, my God, kab seva khatam ho gaya, let me go. So then that means the nature is not matching there. You are not feeling comfortable in that ambience. So then the responsibility of the devotee that he should find some devotee, at least some time in the day he should spend with that devotee, where he is get nourishment. So that is called Swajatiya. And that will help him in a long run. That's why they tell, a devotee should have at least one friend, at least one person whom he can reveal his heart without any kind of judgment or any kind of thought. That is called Swajatiya. If we are not finding, means it's our responsibility to find. So that's what Rupa Goswami explains. Okay, then in the verse number 19, it is explained, in the womb of Purvachitti, Maharaj Agnidhar, the best of the king, begot 9 sons. And the names of the 9 sons are Navi, Kimpurusha, Harivarsha, Ilavarta, Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, Kuru, Bhadrashva, Ketumal. So these are the 9 sons Agnidhara begets in the womb of Purvachiti, and these 9 sons is going to now take the responsibility of Jambudvip. Now he will divide the Jambudvip into 9 parts. Just like if a father has a 2-3 sons, when the sons become very elder, then the father divides the properties among them. Na? It's very rare nowadays to the brothers stay together. Then the father divides the properties very clearly, and then he gives to the son, okay, take your responsibility and the property, enjoy. So here also it's actually tradition only. Here he divides the whole Jambudvip into 9 parts, and each part was separated by a mountain, and the Bharatavarsha was separated by Himalayan mountain. That's how the Himalayan mountain is there, and each 9 son takes the responsibility of 9 parts, and they happily rule that. So if you see the Bhumandala, I was already telling that the Bhumandala was divided into 7 islands, and the Jambudvip was divided into the 9 sons, and the Navi, the one of the son, Navi, he takes charge of the Bharatavarsha. Actually, earlier the name was not Bharatavarsha. It was from the Navi it came Ajanav, and then the descendants of the Navi comes, his son comes Rishabdev, and then Rishabdev has 100 sons, and one of the eldest son was Bharat Maharaj, who was later got attracted to the deer. On the name of the Bharat Maharaj, the name comes Bharatavarsha. Otherwise, earlier the name was Ajanav. So the name of the Bharat Maharaj, the name become Bharatavarsha, and then Bharat Maharaj had 9 Kshatriya brothers, and he divided the Bharatavarsha among the 9 Kshatriya brothers, because Rishabdev has 100 sons, one of the son was Bharat Maharaj, and he has a 9 Kshatriya son, and then 9 Mahabhagavat. They are going to come in the 11th canto, and then he has 81 Brahmanas. So these 9 Kshatriya brothers, they divided this Bharatavarsha into 9 khandas, and one of the khanda is called Bharata Khanda. That is our Bharat. Right now we are here. So that's how the division happens. And then verse number 20. Purvachiti gave birth to these 9 sons, one each year. But after they grew up, she left them at home and again approached Lord Brahma to worship him. Now there is a U-turn in the story. So Purvachiti gave birth these 9 sons. Each year, means 9 years, she got 9 sons. But once she did his responsibility over, she again went back to Brahma's abode and she left her husband. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, there are many instances in which Apsaras, heavenly angels, have descended to this earth by the order of a superior demigod like Lord Brahma or Lord Indra, have followed the demigod's order by marrying someone and giving birth to children, and have then returned to their celestial home. Like I was thinking that a heavenly diligence is coming to earthly planet. It's not a normal thing, right? Means if really we are not qualified enough to handle something, then that won't stay for a long time. That will go eventually. So the heavenly diligence, when they are coming to the earthly planet for some purpose, they are not going to stay for a long time, because they will not feel comfortable here in the earthly planet. They are for that heavenly enjoyment. So once they did the needful, they will go back. Same thing you will see the Vishwamitra Muni also, when Menaka comes and they beget a daughter, Shakuntala, and then Menaka again goes back to the heavenly planet, because they won't stay, because that they won't feel comfortable. For some instant or some reason they come to this earthly planet. As soon as the job is done, they will go back. Purvachiti did not remain permanently with Maharaj Agnidhara. After cooperating in his household affair, she left Maharaj Agnidhara and all 9 sons and they returned to Brahma to worship him. So, I am remembering Ganga Devi also. When Ganga Devi married to Shantanu Maharaj, and she had a condition that You won't open mouth. You don't question anything me. Whatever I'll do, I'll do. Don't question me. Good thing, there will be no conflict only. No question to me. So Shantanu Maharaj told, okay, I won't question anything. And every child was, when born, she was putting in Ganga. And just imagine, the father is seeing the newborn baby. She is submerging in the Ganga river. 1, 2, 3. At last, one day, Shantanu Maharaj asked, why you are doing like this? And the moment he asked, she handed over the child. Okay, take the child. And she just went. And that was Bhishmadev. And so that's how, when the celestial ladies, they come, they have so many conditions. Because they only want that as soon as my job is over, I should go back again. So they put so many conditions, such a tough condition that it is going for sure to break only. Nobody can sustain it. Same thing happens with our Pururava and Urvashi. When Urvashi comes to this earthly planet, because that's also, they don't want to come to this earthly planet. Because of some curse or some service, they are forced to come. Urvashi also, it is mentioned that she developed some kind of a earthly behaviors. So just imagine, earthly behaviors. Manushya jaisa karne lagi. So she was a heavenly denizens, but she developed some kind of earthly behaviors. So the demigods become very angry on her, and then Indra curses her. Go back to the earth then. If you are developing earthly behavior, go back to the earth then. And then that's how she comes to the earth. And anyhow she comes to the earth means, then she is Pururava. Pururava was that time the king. And she get married to Pururava with few conditions. So one of the conditions that I have 2 lambs, you have to protect the 2 lambs. And I am coming from heaven. So in heaven, everything we eat in ghee. So everything you should serve me with proper desi ghee. Then only I will eat. Okay. And then the third condition, she tells, you should never come before me naked. These are the 3 conditions. So Pururava tells, okay, I will follow. And that's how they have a nice time. And then after some time, Indra was missing Urvashi. That where the Urvashi went. And Indra then sends the demigods, go and bring Urvashi back. And these demigods, they come, how to bring Urvashi back? So then they saw that there are 3 conditions. So what they did, they steal the 2 lambs. And then when Urvashi comes to know that the lambs were not there, she started chastising Pururava. What kind of husband you are? My lambs were stolen. You are like a eunuch. Go and fight and bring the lamb. And in that panic, Pururava just runs to fight with the demigods. And then the demigods, it was mid of the night. And when he was fighting with the demigods, they switch on the light. And that time, in that panic, he was in a naked because it was the middle of the night. And then Urvashi is the one, he saw that he was naked. He broke all my conditions. And then Urvashi goes back to heaven. And that's how Pururava started lamenting Urvashi. And to that extent, he started lamenting. Always he was thinking about the Urvashi. And eventually, he goes back to the planet of Urvashi. Whatever you think that Krishna tells in the Gita, he will go to that planet. So he was thinking heavily, he was thinking about Urvashi, that at the end of the life, he goes to the planet of Urvashi. Rather than going back to Godhead, he goes to the planet of Urvashi. So here Prabhupada is highlighting that that's how the nature of the celestial women, they can't stay. So very important lesson we can take, that if you are not qualified enough for things, then you should be detached from that. And somehow that if you try to capture that, eventually that will go and you will be miserable. So better always simple living, high thinking. So that is the principle we can learn. And then the verse 21. Because of drinking the breast milk of their mother, the 9 sons of the Agnidhara naturally had a strong, well-built bodies. Their father gave them each a kingdom in a different part of Jambudvip. The kingdoms were named according to the names of the sons. Thus, the sons of Agnidhara ruled the kingdom they received from their father. So Prabhupada is highlighting on the point breastfeeding. The Acharya specifically mentioned that in this verse the word Matuh Anugrahat, by the mercy of their mother, refers to the breast milk of the mother. So what is the mercy of a mother to the child? that the first mercy of the mother to the child is that allowing the child to suck her breast. So if the child is getting the breast milk, means it's the greatest fortune for the child. And nowadays it is not happening, the impact of the Kali Yuga. But the Prabhupada is telling this is how the child gets the greatest nutrient is the mother's milk. If the child is getting in the first few months of this life, that is the greatest, the most multivitamin nutrients is everything is the mother's milk. And that's what Prabhupada is telling. In India, it is common belief that if a baby is fed his mother's milk for at least 6 months, his body will be very strong. Beside that, it is mentioned herein that all the sons of Agnidhar were endowed with the nature of their mother. Bhagavad Gita 1.40 also declares, Strishu drishtvasu varshneya jayate varna sankara. When women are polluted, varna sankara, unqualified children are generated. And when the varna sankara population increases, the entire world becomes hellish. Therefore, according to Manu Samhita, a woman needs a greater deal of protection in order to remain pure and chaste, so that her children can be fully engaged for the benefit of human society. So here Prabhupada is highlighting another side of that. So the role of a mother in our society is highlighting basically. The child when he was born from a mother, the first role is the sanskara he gets from the mother. We can see so many examples in our scripture. In Maharashtra, our Shivaji Maharaj, such a mother he had, Jijabai. That what a kind of sanskar he got. Everything he learned from his mother. It was mentioned that so many times I have heard from Rupa Raghunath Prabhu the stories that in the beginning Jijabai used to tell so many stories from Ramayana and Mahabharata to our Shivaji Maharaj. That's how he got a strong foundational character in his childhood. And it was mentioned that there was a fight that time with the Subedar of the Kalyan, and when they won over the kingdom, and they brought the daughter of the king of Kalyan to Shivaji Maharaj. They tell that king enjoy the queen, because that's how it generally happens. When a king defeats another king, he gets a booty, he gets the queen, the property, everything. And then Shivaji Maharaj, when he sees the queen of Kalyan, he tells, she is like my mother, and she offered respect to the queen. And everyone was surprised. Just see what a kind of a character he got. And everything because he was taught from the beginning of the childhood, from the mother. And that's how the role of a mother. Otherwise, everybody will get the power. But if the character is not there, then the power will go in a negative direction. So many examples are there. If you see the Garbhodan Sanskar, that's how the importance of the Garbhodan Sanskar we do. When you do the Garbhodan, because everything has a science and it has a exact effect on the child. So Garbhodana Sanskar, when they do so many rituals and offering devotional service, then all that impacts the mother's mind, and gradually that impacts the child's mind also. And that's how in the dynasty of Hiranyakashipu, the son like Prahlad was born. Why? Because of the Garbhodana Sanskar happened to Kayadhu by Narada Muni. Otherwise, how could Prahlad Maharaj born? And Hiranyakashipu was telling the opposite thing, that in the forest of sandalwood he is like a thorn was born. But he was actually the sandalwood in the forest of thorn. So that happened because Narada Muni continuously was telling the Bhagavad Puran to Kayadhu. And because of that, Prahlad became such an exalted devotee was born. And then the example comes in 4th canto only we saw Dhruva Maharaj. When Dhruva Maharaj was offended by his stepmother, he was furious. But immediately Suniti tells that, don't think bad about your mother, stepmother. Just see, the first impression, the samskara comes from the mother. Don't think any ill about your stepmother. You just worship Lord Vishnu, everything will be alright. But you don't bring a negativity about others. That is how the sanskar comes from the mother. And the child, when he was in the 5, 6, between 5 to 10 year, they learned everything from the mother. That's how in the Gurukul we take from 10th year, from the 6th standard. Because that is the time the child should stay with the mother. And what the mother can impart to the child, nobody else in the whole world can do. And if that is the time the child was separate from the mother, then all kind of a psychophysical disorder he developed. When I was cultivating one person in an online class, he was from China, Indian body, stays in China, and his family was here in India. So 2 days before only he visited here in GV, and he was telling me, Prabhuji, I was thinking that the child should be there with the. There should be. I am planning to put the child in one the Gurukul in some school. And I told them, what is the age of the child? A 5-year-old. 5-year-old. You are planning to put somewhere else. I said, Baba, this is the time you should spend with the mother and the father. And if you are in the China, let the child stay with the mother at least 4 or 5 years. He will get all the sanskar from the mother. So then he thought, oh, like that. Then I explained all these examples. And then he changed the plan. Oh, then let the child stay with the mother. So because sometimes we become prematurely think that, okay, I'll put some Gurukul or some boarding school, he will learn everything from the childhood only. But at least some time it is needed, that emotional stability, the maturity, that he will get from the mother, at least from the 5 to 10 years. So that is very important in the role of the mother. And then the Prabhupada is highlighting that when we tell that conservation, the women should be protected, the Prabhupada is highlighting the other side. So when you are telling that we should protect the women, why? Because they are very precious and their role is to give all these good qualities to the children. So that is why it is mentioned in the scripture that the women should be protected. In that sense, so that they can help the child in the proper. If they have time, then only they can help. Sometimes I see that both are working and they don't have a time for the children only. And then both they complain that, Prabhuji, our child is not listening only. Because the husband goes early morning to the office, he comes the late night around 10, and the mother also working outside, she is also coming late night, and Bai is there in the house, and the child spend time with the Bai. So what kind of sanskar the child will get? Then I tell, at least you should take out some time. You can do, if you want to work, then work in such a job that you should have at least 3-4 hours with your child. And if you don't have any time with spending with a child, then how the child will get the samskara? Will he learn from the Bai or what? So then they think that, oh, earning money is not only everything, because with that money you can't get all this sanskara. At least the parents should spend some time with the children, and very important is that beginning 10 years is the very crucial time. And that's why Prabhupada is highlighting the role of a woman, mother. And then verse 22. After Purvachiti's departure, King Agnidhara, his lusty desire, not at all satisfied, always thought of her. Therefore, in accordance with the Vedic injunction, the king after his death was promoted to the same planet as his celestial wife. That planet, which is called Pitralok, which is where the Pitas, the forefathers, live in great delight. So because Purvachiti was thinking, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, Krishna tells, whatever thought you think at the time of death, that time to fulfill that kind of thought, you will take birth in that place where you will fulfill that desire. So he was thinking, he got attracted to that Purvachiti, and when Purvachiti left, he was thinking day and night about her, and then he goes to that same planet Pitraloka to again get association of Purvachiti. Just like I was telling the example of Pururava, when Urvasi left Pururava, he was thinking 24-hour Urvasi, and then even the demigod, they gave another celestial girl, but he was not satisfied with that. He was thinking about Urvasi only, and then he started performing sacrifice, yajna, to get the planet of Urvasi. And he was putting some kind of wood and thinking that he sees Urvasi and that is our child, and doing a lot of sacrifice. And then at last the demigod, okay Baba, go to Urvasi's planet. And they sent him to the Gandharva Loka where Urvasi was there. So that is how it is so strong material attachment. We can learn that if we have a material attachment apart from Krishna, then our destination will be given in such a way that we have to fulfill that material attachment. So Prabhupada is writing in the purport, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajante ante kalevaram tam tam eveti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, whatever kind of a thought smaran in our mind it comes, tyajate ante kalevaram. Kalevaram is the body. Tyajate, when somebody is giving off the kalevara, the body, tam tam eveti kaunteya, that thought what he had in his mind, sada tad bhava bhavita, what he was thinking 24/7 in his mind, to fulfill that thought he will get another birth. So Prabhupada is writing in the purport, whatever state of being one remember when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. We can naturally conclude that if we always think of Krishna or become fully Krishna conscious, we can be promoted to the planet of Golok Vrindavan, where Krishna eternally lives. So Prabhupada is telling the other side that just see, if somebody is thinking about the material things, he take a birth to fulfill the material desire. Similarly, if somehow or other if we manage our life in such a way that if we think about Krishna 24/7, then you will get such a birth in the Golok Vrindavan, where you will get association of Krishna 24/7. Morning I was hearing Prabhupada's lecture. Prabhupada was telling that we should plan our day in such a way that whatever we are doing, somehow or other it should remind us about Krishna. So he was saying, just see Arjuna, he was fighting in the battlefield, but he was fighting for the Krishna. So in bhakti, even though eventually fighting is a bad activity, right? So he was telling that even the bad activity also reminding Arjuna of Krishna. Similarly, everything we should plan in such a way that it should remind us of Krishna. Then the life is successful. Nothing is a waste in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is hammering that even bad activity is also Krishna consciousness, he was telling. Fighting, just see Arjuna is fighting. It's a bad activity. Still it is Krishna consciousness. So in Krishna consciousness, your intention plays a vital role. Intention should be always clear that I want to please Guru and Krishna. Then the activity is automatically Krishna consciousness. It may be apparently, materially, even it may be a good or it may be bad activity. So I was thinking recently, Ramayana is coming, day after tomorrow. There are so many examples in the Ramayana, if you see, how they are 24 hours, they are always absorbed in Lord Ram. And they got eventually a destination, spiritual world. When Sita was kidnapped by Ravana and also was taken to Lanka, Jatayu comes in between. Jatayu fought with Ravana so valiantly. And Sita Devi tells that you can't fight with Ravana, you are an old person. Just go and give the information to Ram that Ravana is taking. But Jatayu tells, how can I see that somebody is taking my mother? I can't see, right? So Jatayu, even though he knew that he is going to be killed, still he fought. And eventually he got killed. And then when Lord Ram comes to Jatayu and Ram sees Jatayu, Jatayu tells or gives all the information and he dies in the lap of Lord Ram, gazing at the lotus feet of Lord Ram, chanting the name of Lord Ram. Just imagine what could be the more auspicious departure. And Lord Ram couldn't do the final rites of his own father, but he did with his own hand of Jatayu's body. And immediately Jatayu, just imagine Lord Ram is doing, what could be the destination? Immediately Jatayu goes back to Ayodhya, the spiritual world. And Savri, you can take example. When Matanga Rishi tells he was taking all his disciples. It's like the Kartik Yatra happening, everyone is going, but you are only one in the stay back. Generally, group will stay. So Matanga Rishi takes all the disciples back to Godhead, but he tells to Savri that you stay back. What? The Lord Ram will come in the Treta Yuga, that time you will receive him, welcome him. And then Sabri stays. And the thing is that 24/7 Sabri was thinking about Lord Ram. We can see with his service. Every day she was plucking flower and she was decorating the ashram. That Who knows when Ram will come? And then the day ends and then he winds up every flower. And again, next day, again the flower he was decorating. It's not that when Ram will, I'll get some news when Ram will come, then I'll start decorating. Every day without fail, she was decorating. Just imagine about her consciousness, absorption of seeing Lord Ram. And Ram comes that day and he eats the jhuta bear of Sabri. And then immediately Lord Ram sends Sabri back to Godhead, to spiritual world. That is the example of Sabri. And then the greatest example comes our Sita Devi. So when Sita Devi was rescued from Ravana, after Ram kills Ravana, and Sita Devi comes, and Ram tells that, how can I accept you? You stayed in with some other other person's kingdom for so long, so you have to do a pariksha, Agni pariksha. And then Sita Devi tells that if for a moment I have not remembered Lord Ram, then let this Agni burns me. Just imagine. For a moment, if I have not remembered Lord Ram, then let this fire burns me. And he enters into the fire. And Agni Dev brings Sita back to Ram and he tells that I myself get purified by the association of Sita. And that's how your wife is so pure. So that is how we can learn so many examples in the Ravana, that how they are absorbed 24/7 in the consciousness of Ravana. It's so exalted, so high, but we can at least try our level best. Recently I went to Vrindavan. I had taken a small group of yatra to Vrindavan, and fortunately I was on the same day when they were doing Samadhi ceremony of our Kadam Kanan Swami Maharaj. So then who will miss the opportunity? I just went directly to the Gaushala, iskcon Vrindavan Gaushala, and they did Samadhi ceremony, everything. And then Jayadutta Maharaj gave a nice lecture there. And in that lecture, they played a small video clip of Kadam Kanan Swami Maharaj. It's very, very famous in the YouTube, you can hear. It's a 15-minute video. Actually, Kadam Kanan Maharaj recorded this video when he was alive, but he told that don't show this video to public. When I depart, then only show. So when he departed, so Jayadutta Maharaj told that show that video. So then I was seeing that video there. Kadam Kanan Maharaj was telling, same thing he was highlighting. Somehow or other you should manage our life in such a way that we should think always 24/7 about Krishna consciousness. He was highlighting. And then he was telling, how can you do practically? So he tells that just we have to follow these 4 principles. No meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. But if you see this video, when he was telling these 4 regulative principles, it was not just physically, but he was telling that in subtly also, in your mind also, in intention also, we should try to follow these 4 regulative principles. And then attentive 16 round chanting. He was telling, Prabhupada gave this 16 round chanting, attentive 16 round chanting if you do in the morning, that will help us to remember Krishna 24 hours throughout the day. Just imagine, this is the final, he was giving the message to the whole world before departing. That means sometimes the people object, Prabhupada didn't give the highest thing. Otherwise, he is going back to Godhead. And he is giving he was proving the same statement of Prabhupada, that what Prabhupada has given, it's working. Just you have to do it nicely. And you will be always absorbed in Krishna consciousness. So that was very powerful thing Kadam Kanan Maharaj is telling. So we can help each other remembering these things, and devotee association. We should help each other to practice this 4 principles and chant the holy name, very nicely absorbed in the holy name. So I also praying to all of you, help each other and help me to be practice and follow this chanting. Hare Krishna. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam Puran ki Jai. Any comment? Any question? Anything? Okay. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. हाँ यस